Hi everybody. For my last module, Module 7, online teaching poster, I decided to use Canva, which I have used several times in my undergrad and a couple times for my class, and decided to use to make my poster for our last project. So at the top here, I put the title of our module and I used the top 3 aspects of my philosophy: create, cultivate, and challenge. So my philosophy for online teaching and learning is to create, cultivate, and challenge my students. I want to create a positive learning environment that allows for students to engage in and enjoy the learning process. I want to cultivate activities that encourage students to engage, learners that have not only their academic but also their social and emotional needs and the needs of diverse learners met. I want to challenge my students to take ownership and accountability for their part in the learning process, and myself to follow the national standards for quality online teaching. These standards have been incredibly helpful when it comes to planning and instructing online students. I have already made sure to start incorporating these standards into my planning. I have started to use my philosophy to increase the engagement, accountability, and ownership, as well as making sure I educate the whole student. Stephen Moskowitz also brought up some very unique skills and qualities in Chapter 2, The Online Teacher: Skills and Qualities to be Successful. I have made sure to consider and incorporate these skills and qualities as well. A lot of the skills and qualities that Moskowitz mentioned had not crossed my mind when I thought about what was needed in order to be an online teacher. Looking through and taking inventory in what skills and qualities I had in which I needed to cultivate was very helpful in planning ahead for teaching online learners. The access to social and emotional learning for both asynchronous and synchronous learning is abundant. There are so many resources at the tips of our fingers that can be used to assist students in a very different and complicated time. We need to remember to teach the whole child, and this includes meeting their social and emotional needs. Prior to this class, I had not looked at any of the social emotional learning core competencies. I had utilized a lot of aspects of social emotional learning, but did not realize that there were specifics that went with it. When we participated in our synchronous lesson and the discussion posts, I was introduced to so many new aspects of social emotional learning that really opened up what I could use in my classroom for my students. Since I am an emotional support teacher, I am always looking for new ways to teach our social skills and to support social emotional learning in my classroom. The 5 aspects of the social presence model in Module 4 really helped me to incorporate the effective association, community cohesion, instructor involvement, interaction intensity, and knowledge and experience effectively into my classroom. Dickers, Whiteside, and Lewis really broke down each aspect and showed how it can operate in the classroom as well as the importance of each in a virtual setting. In Chapter 5, Collaborating and Community Building, Rice discusses important strategies to incorporate community building in the classroom both synchronously and asynchronously. This was something that I had been struggling with, but through the readings and discussions shared by my classmates, I had so many new thoughts and ideas that I could utilize in my classroom with my students to help build the community between virtual and in-person learners. This class was perfect timing for the current situation that we have found ourselves in due to the pandemic. Everything I learned in this class I was able to take and immediately incorporate into my own classroom. Module 5 and the Online Accessibility Handbook, as well as discussions, really gave me more ideas about how I can work to make my content even more accessible for all of my students. Teaching diverse learners is what I do daily, so having more tools, strategies, and differentiation ideas has been so beneficial for my specific classroom and population of students. This course has really opened me up to new standards that help me to aid my planning and preparation for my online learners. Chapter 2, Online Integration by Graham, Borup, Short, and Archambault outlines some very effective blended learning models that could be incorporated into the classroom. After reflecting on this chapter, there were several models I thought would be effective for my classroom, like the whole group rotation or rotation model. The INACOL Blended Learning Teacher Competency Framework was really helpful to reflect on in Module 6. I love having a framework to follow and guide me on the important aspects I might miss. I feel that I know there are things that I could be doing, but when I have a framework where everything is outlined, it makes planning, preparing, and reflecting so much easier. Some of my biggest ahas about online teaching were that there are so many more resources than I realized. The resources that are available for online teaching are abundant, and since I had not been teaching online before, did not have a need or reason to know they existed. It has also been an aha moment to hear what other teachers are doing in their classroom during online learning. I have learned so much from my classmates and their thoughts, ideas, and resources they have utilized in their classrooms. This class has been such an eye-opener and incredibly helpful when it comes to planning and preparing for students' needs during online learning and a pandemic. This class has also reiterated the importance of teaching the whole child and not just academics. Some questions I still have are how to balance the planning workload and still make effective lessons while not getting burnt out. What the best way is to collaborate with other teachers during a pandemic, and how we can be the most effective when it comes to balancing students who are in person and virtual. To kind of go along with everything that I just discussed, I made sure to include the specific readings from each module that I cited throughout my philosophy and the questions that I answered. So in Module 1, the National Standards for Quality Online Teaching, Module 2, Chapter 2 by Moskowitz, and Identifying and Addressing Teaching Challenges in the K-12 Online Environment by Archambault. In Module 3, Chapter 5, Online Interactions by Graham, Borup, Short, and Archambault, as well as the SEL competencies and the Danielson framework for remote teaching. In Module 4, the Social Presence Model by Dickers, Whiteside, and Lewis, and Chapter 5, Collaborating and Community Building. In Module 5, Chapter 8, Supporting Learners with Special Needs, and the Online Accessibility Handbook. In Module 6, the Chapter 2, Online Integration, and the INACOL Blended Learning Teacher Competency Framework. I also included my aha moment at the bottom just to kind of put together everything that I discussed. I have really enjoyed this class and I've appreciated everybody's thoughtfulness, responses, and getting to hear what other people are doing in their classrooms and how other teachers are handling similar situations. It's very tricky to kind of get outside of our own bubble, and this class has really opened me up to some new thoughts and ideas by being able to have really good, thoughtful discussions with other people who have responded and given feedback and their thoughts and ideas on what we have learned as well. So thank you, Dr. Ollie, and everybody else who has posted on my posts and given really great comments, ideas, and thoughts.